Does color have a history? Now you can see here is a one painting and here is a one painting. In reality, these are not a painting, these are the cloth, printed cloth, and they are colored cloth. This is a Kalamkari print, 20th century in India, and then a Morris cotton print, late 19th century in England. So you can see both are similar, but in the India's print, the blue color is so dark, but in this you will see the light blue color, and but there it has a dark blue color, which makes it glorious. Now, why the demand for Indian indigo? So, what is indigo? Indigo is simply a plant which used to make blue color. So, this blue color is came from indigo, and it is a plant and which is grown in the fields, and it also take a huge amount of labors and tools to make it very better. Now the indigo plant grows primarily in the tropics. So in India it is a right place. By the 13th century, Indian indigo was being used by cloth manufacturers in Italy, France and Britain to dye cloth. So dye simply means to color the cloth. Don't be confused. However, only small amount of Indian indigo reached the European market, and its price was very high. So from Italy, France and Britain, these three countries used the indigo to dye the cloth, so they have to purchase it from somewhere. So in European market, the indigo the indigo has a very huge amount of price, so it was very expensive. So that's why European cloth manufacturers therefore had to depend on another plant called woad to make violet and blue dyes. So you can see here that it is printed by wood, because it is a dark purple and a light blue color. So it is not better than this one, but it is better than a colorless printed cloth. Now, however, only small amount of Indian indigo reached the European market, at its price was very high. European cloth manufacturer therefore had to depend on another plant called wood to make violet and blue dyes. Being a plant of a temperate zone, wood was more easily available in Europe. So, what do you mean by temperate zone? Now, I have to understand it. So, here's a picture of a earth. Now, let's imagine that here's a picture of a earth. It's circular. So, you know that the earth has a equator which divide the earth in a middle. So in the upper layer it is tropic of Cancer, it is lower layer it is tropic of Capricorn. So upper layer, the tropic of Cancer, is known as tropic also because its name depends on tropic. Now Europe is near the tropic of Cancer. As you can know also that the tropic of Cancer goes to India also, or Ranchi region, no, Ranchi region, and from Jharkhand. It was grown in northern Italy, southern France, and in part of Germany and Britain. So, worried by the competition from indigo, wood producers in Europe pressurized their government to ban the import of indigo. So, the indigo Indigo is not available in the tropics and near the Europe also, so they have to import it from somewhere else. So the charge duty, the import duty, and all of these make the price of indigo higher. So they have to use wood. So Europeans tried to ban the import of indigo. So let's see if they were passed or not. Cloth dyer, however, preferred indigo as a dye. Indigo produces a rich blue colors. Now, a rich blue color makes the cloth glorious and give it a fancy glow. Now, the French began cultivating indigo in St. Domingue in the Caribbean islands, the Portuguese in Brazil, the English in Jamaica, and the Spanish in Venezuela. Indian indigo plantations also come up in many parts of North America. So when the value of the indigo increases, many countries begin to grow it. Now let's come to the another point. Britain turns to India. So Britain is not much a producer of indigo at that time because it's come in tropic, and the tropic were not good for the plantation of the indigo also. So Britain tried to get it from India and sell it to the European market as well. So you can see here, from the last decade of the 18th century, indigo cultivation in Bengal expanded rapidly, and Bengal indigo came to dominate the world market. So the Bengal indigo were now famous. In 1788, only about 30% of the indigo imported into Britain was from India. By 1810, the proportion had gone up to 95%. So you can see here, from 30 to 95%. It is a much increase. So if you have you can imagine that if you have a small plot, you have to grow crops in your area, and if you after some time you see that your demand of your crops increases. So from 30 to 95, it is a huge increase. Now, how was indigo cultivated? So there were two main systems of indigo cultivation, niche and ryote. Within the system of niche, the planters produced indigo in lands that he directly controlled. He either bought the land or rented it from other zamindars and produced indigo by directly employing hired laborers. So in niche cultivation, what is niche cultivation? So it is simply that a planter uses hired laborers, and if he has no land, he will rent from the zamindars and produces indigo in his own. The problem with the niche system, the planters found it difficult to expand the areas under niche cultivation. Indigo could be cultivated only on fertile lands, and these were all already densely populated. So if you grow a crop many times in a particular area, the field will loses its fertility. It is natural, because the demand of indigo was higher from the British, so they have to grow indigo continuously without any time gap between these. So it makes the land less fertile. So only small plots scattered over the landscape could be acquired. Planters needed a large area in compact blocks to cultivate indigo in plantations. Where could they get such land from? They attempt to lease in the land around the indigo factory and evict the peasants from the area, but this always led to conflict and tension. Nor was labor easy to mobilize. The large plantation required a vast number of hands to operate, and labor was needed preciously at a time when peasants were usually busy with their rice cultivation. So plantations planters has to hire labor, but the laborers were also busy in the plantation of the rice also, so they didn't have enough time to see their indigo cultivation and to grow their indigo. So niche cultivation on a large scale also required many plows and bullocks. 1 bigha of indigo cultivation required 2 plow. So only a small part you have to use 2 plows. This means that a planter with 1,000 bighas would need 20,000 plow. Investing on purchase and maintenance of plow was a big problem. So a small planter didn't afford this type of amount, because he has to buy 20,000 plow and he has to give the money to the hired labor also.